Yeah, I'm Professor John Langley at the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta, and we have a Supply Chain and Logistics Institute, of which I am one of the members, one of the faculty members, and we do research, teaching, and outreach with regard to supply chain and logistics issues. Essentially, our study provides an annual update in terms of the trends in the industry. What are some of the areas of opportunity? What are some of the problems being faced by customers that are using 3PL services? And how can both 3PLs and customers work more effectively as they move into the future? One of our main findings this year, particularly a year in which the entire world has been dealing with economic volatility, we have found, generally speaking, a very positive outlook from the users of 3PL services regarding a couple things. One is the extent to which the 3PLs can actually help the customers to improve their businesses in this time of economic downturn. But secondly, we found that generally speaking, there's a net increase in the optimism customers have of using 3PL services. So, in effect, if you said, is the current economic environment been good for the 3PL business? For the smart companies, yes, I would say that very definitely there are opportunities here that may not have existed a couple of years ago. The state of the industry, it's interesting because I think that the industry has been evolving over a number of years. I mean, we've had 3PLs for a very long time, but in terms of being a kind of a topic of discussion the last 10 or 15 years in particular. But I believe that right now the state of the industry is such that the customers are beginning to really understand the value that can be created by strategic and also operational outsourcing, working closely with 3PLs. The customers are becoming much better educated as to how to do this well. The providers are becoming much more capable in terms of managing their own businesses and also dealing effectively with customers. And I think for capable providers and capable users of 3PL services, the relationships that are being formed can be just outstanding from the perspective of both parties.
What I like about this is that, logistics or shippers in this case talk about outsourcing. Yesterday there was a question that was asked, and that is, during the recession, do companies see more outsourcing or less? In that regard, the thinking here is that in ASEAN, right, shippers today still see a lot of domestic transportation being outsourced. They see a lot of international transportation being outsourced, and some help in terms of customs brokerage, and more importantly, also forwarding. Okay. Right? So these are the four things, and these are all very commodity-based, commodity-driven, and transactional.
Actually, it's kind of interesting because we've asked the customers and we've asked the 3PLs, what each party wants in their relationship, and the extent to which they're both satisfied with their relationships. We find little differences of opinion, but by and large, they're both focused on providing high-quality logistics services at prices that are reasonable. I think from a 3PL's point of view, the word reasonable would mean sufficiently high to be able to be innovative and reinvent their business to come back and provide benefits and services to the customers. From the customer's point of view, of course, the word reasonable may be a little bit closer to cost, and hopefully not below cost, because that doesn't really help anyone. But as they both look toward the right kind of value and service packages, they'll determine a good price service value proposition for the customer and for the 3PL. Well, that's interesting. We hear this term, new supply chain normal. I think that the irony about it is that there really is no normal anymore. Everything's changing so quickly. But the new supply chain normal is to understand that we've got to be extremely robust in the way we make our business decisions. We have to make decisions today that reflect the fact that tomorrow will be different. And yet that doesn't really provide us with an excuse for not making our decisions. So we've got to adopt probably the best techniques of scenario planning, and take a look at the different options we may be facing in the future, and in a very calculated way, even mathematically calculated, we've got to be able to figure out, what are our best bets in terms of strategies, where should we be aligning our resources, and with whom should we be doing business in order to achieve our supply chain and our business objectives.
Right, but if you see this study, you find that logistics actually, right, is growing, is maturing, and evolving. Right? If evolving to include new ideas and technology, evolving to include new applications of innovation, evolving to include new players in the game plan. New players as in not just pure transportation boys or freight boys, but also the technology players such as the SAPs and the Oracles of today.